Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wingcat Sports. Today, we are going to talk about the Lions season, our prediction to think how they're going to do this year. Right, I think all of us think they're going to do pretty well. We're very optimistic about this year. We're actually going to be going to Kansas City for the first game of the year, which should be a fun trip going
It
down
should
there.
be an amazing
We're going
time.
to be shirtless and painting our bodies blue.
We're going to drive shirtless all the way to Kansas City.
But
And I'm getting a Dan Campbell tattoo on my chest.
starting with the first game, though, Kansas City, right? I don't think any of us are going to predict them to beat Kansas City. I hope it's a good game. I think it'll be a good game. It might not be as close as I want it to be, but it should be a good game. But we are going to lose in Kansas City.
I mean, you got to be realistic when you're a Lions fan. Yes, there are high expectations for them this year, but to open up against, you should want as a fan for them to play the best competition they can. Okay, they finished the year pretty good, finished last year pretty good, and I don't understand Lions fans who are like, oh no, they're playing the Chiefs. Yeah, you should want that. This team's been hyped up and they have to prove it. Me personally, I think they're going to lose. Hopefully, they keep it close. There's still a lot to prove on this team. And, Kansas City, Super Bowl champions, Mahomes, Kelsey, great defense. It's a tall order. I just hope that they keep it close, but I have them losing it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're already at the first game.
Yeah, we're at the first game.
Okay.
What you
I'm going to pick a shocker, and I'm going to say we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game with a last-second interception by Brian Branch for a touchdown.
Pick six. Honestly, I hope you're right.
And I'm going to say 31-24 Detroit for the first game. I just think, like I said, all the hype, all the pump. Kansas City's, they won the Super Bowl. They're going to be just all caught up in the crap. And Detroit's going to be focused on winning the game.
And then we can send Aiden Hutchinson into the crowd to kick the shit out of Mahomes' brother.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the second game. I think this is going to be the toughest game at home for Detroit. All their 8 home games against Seattle. I do think they're going to beat Seattle at home, but it will be their toughest game at home. I think they're going to start the season 1-1 right there, beat Seattle. It should be a good game, probably be like last year. Be a high-scoring game. I think we will be on top, though, this time.
You know what? They have never been very good with a mobile quarterback. And if you ask me, they should have won that game against Seattle last year. But Geno Smith ran all over them. They could not stop that guy. If memory serves, they did pretty good against Metcalf. Correct? But Geno Smith just ran, I think, for a couple 100 yards, a couple of scores. And now they got Kenneth Walker, who's looking like he could be one of the better backs in the league now. And until they can stop that run, I would say that's a loss too.
Yeah.
They're not going to lose their home opener. They're going to win. They're going to win big because they got embarrassed by this team last year. I'm predicting something along the lines of 28-10.
Well, their defense is better. It's just
both teams have
a lot of new guys, and Hutchinson, he's improving. We'll see.
We will see. This will be a good game. This will probably be the toughest home game they have, like I said, but it will be a really good game. Next game, it is another home game. We're going to be facing Atlanta. I think we'll be able to handle the Falcons pretty easily. That should be an easy win for us. Starting the year out 2-1 right there, and having a good sense of momentum going into your next set of games.
Yeah, the Falcons are basically a blown diaper. They have no quarterback. Who's their quarterback? It's Heineke and Ritter. The only threat I see them having.
They're going to go with Ritter.
Okay, well, he was drafted 2 years ago, so yeah, put him in there. But the only threat I see them having is Bijan Robinson. He's a rookie, but not very good team. This is a team the Lions should handle and just handle well. So that's a win.
I'm a little worried about this game, but considering Bijan Robinson, So we'll see. I'm still predicting it to be a win. I think that they're going to have a little bit of a letdown playing Atlanta, but they're gonna win this game barely. So that's 3 wins for me so far.
All right. Going into our next game, it's our second primetime game of the year. We're going back to Lambeau Field facing Jordan Love and the Packers, right? I feel like we're going to beat the Packers for a fourth straight time. We are going to beat them in Lambeau. We're going to win that game. We're going to start the year off with a good amount of wins and set ourselves up for a good rest of the year. I think we can handle the Packers, right? They're a young team just like us, but they haven't had as much time to mesh. I think we can handle them and beat them.
I agree with you. I honestly don't see that game even being close. I think we will actually beat the Packers twice. I mean, Love, they have no proven QB. I mean, Love's played a couple of times, but the Packers without Rodgers, they're basically toothless, and they have no real offensive weapons. I mean, Christian Watson, but you got to have a guy that gets him the ball. I don't think the Packers will be very good at all. So yes, that's a win for me.
I don't think our division is going to be as bad as
No.
people think it's going to be. I don't
Do you think it's going to be that competitive?
I think it's going to be better. I think the Bears are going to be better. I think the pressure of not having Rodgers there anymore, Love does not looking over his shoulders. It's going to be more relaxed. Their defense is still good in Green Bay. So I'm going to say this is going to be like a stub toe for us right here. We're going to lose this one.
Really?
Right.
I think.
That's interesting. All right. Moving on to the next game, right? We get a little bit of a longer week coming back home to face the Panthers, who we faced in the preseason. So we'll see how that ends up going. I do think, people say, this will be our revenge game, right? For what they did to us last year,
Or what we did to ourselves.
Running all over us, right? I do think we will beat them.
This is the game that kept us out of the playoffs.
Yes, this is the game that kept us out of the playoffs.
We will beat them.
Or the Viking game.
It will be a close game again, but we will beat them this year.
Well, who's going to be their quarterback? Is it Bryce Young? Is it Andy Dalton? Is it their start? Okay, so that's their starter. I would not put Andy Dalton in. I would just go with Bryce Young. Your team isn't that great anyways. They do have some pretty solid wide receivers, though. They got our guy. They got DJ Chark.
We got Chark.
They got Thielen. They got Adam Thielen. They got Mingo.
Yep.
So, but it's the quarterback position, and if you don't have one of them, you're not going to win. So yeah, that's a win for me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a win. Also, I think that they're going to have last year's game in their head. They're not going to be taken by surprise by this team. I think Bryce Young will be starting and still figuring it out. So we should beat these guys.
And not that it was an excuse, but it was unusually cold there.
Yeah, the field wasn't in good conditions either.
It was terrible. And it was like playing in a parking lot.
And the one thing about Bryce Young, I didn't realize how small he is too. He is a small guy. He looks really tiny.
I think he's listed as like 5'9", 5'10", somewhere. He's under 6 foot.
Yeah, he's not a big guy.
Yeah,
so that might not bode well for him playing. So they might sit him just so he can learn stuff.
Yeah, Arizona's
and work out.
Finding out what a short quarterback can do.
Next one is our next away game. We are going to be going to Tampa to face the Buccaneers. Right? I think we can beat the Bucs.
Trash.
We are going to be able to beat them. There should not be a problem with us in any NFC South team, really. We should be able to beat all of the NFC South. I think we are going to win this game too. Pretty easily, even though we are in Tampa, right? They're starting Baker Mayfield. He's not terrible, but he's not great either. He's an okay quarterback. You should be able to beat Tampa.
Below average quarterback. And, without Brady there, even though Brady's basically a senior citizen as far as football goes, he's better than Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield still hasn't proved he can lead a team or even stay with the team. He's not a very likable guy from all accounts. So could be a locker room issue with him. But once again, a team that is struggling at quarterback is right there for the taking. So that's a win for me.
I think Tampa's going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think should be a blowout. Should be a blowout. So
I mean, they still have a solid
That's our fifth
receiving core
I-
in Godwin and Evans, but
yeah, Baker Mayfield. They have. You think
no running game that I know of.
You think Atlanta has no quarterback?
Yeah,
I think Tampa Bay is in even worse shape as far as that goes.
yeah.
So I think this should be a blowout to look at it.
Yeah.
So 5 wins.
It shouldn't be too difficult against the Bucs. The next game, this is where I think our next loss is going to come. We're going to go to Baltimore. It is not going to be easy in Baltimore.
You're
going to
really
have to
think
eventually.
about this one. Yeah.
You're going to hit that bump eventually, even if you're winning. I don't think we're going to be a team that only loses 1 or 2 games, right? We're going to hit that bump. I think going to Baltimore, trying to face Lamar, he's probably going to do well against us again. We've done well against the Ravens, but I don't think we're going to be able to pull it out against them this year. I think this is where our next loss is.
I agree. I wrote that down as a loss. Just like with Seattle, we still have trouble with mobile QBs, and Jackson can definitely run on you. Hostile environment in Baltimore. I still don't know how good this team is going to be on the road. And, that's basically it. I think, that's a loss. And I want it to be a win. There's a chance it could be, but I think Jackson will just be too much for him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I think the difference is if it was here, I think we win. But in Baltimore, like you guys are saying, I think the cold weather, the home field, I think I'm going to give the edge to Baltimore here too.
Okay. And then after that, we come home. We get our Monday night
First
football
Monday
game.
night game. The Ford Field's going to be going crazy.
This is the day before Halloween too, so that's
Yes.
actually going to be interesting. We're going to face the Raiders. I think we can beat the Raiders. It might be tough stopping that run game though. Josh Jacobs might be running all over us. He's a really, really good running back.
Yes.
But I think we can pull this one out. I think we'll win at home. Right at this point, in my prediction, we are 6-2, I believe, and that is a very good start to the year. Before I believe Baltimore is the bye week, so this is coming off the bye week. No, it's not coming off the bye week. I think we passed our bye week.
I think the Raiders are trash. I just do. And once again, we're playing a team that has a weak quarterback. We're playing a handful of teams here that we can beat just for the fact that they are weak behind center. And with Garoppolo, he doesn't impress me much. They got Devontae Adams. As long as our secondary can cover him, I don't see this being a problem. I think it's a win. And a big win. They should beat them soundly.
Yep, another game where I agree. I think I'm at least on paper. You look at this, there doesn't seem to be much to fear from Las Vegas. We should at home handle them pretty well. I'm going to think this will be a big golf day on the Monday night stage. Looking forward to it. I think we're going to hand them a pretty big loss.
Yeah. The next one, this is actually where we are on their bye week. We have a nice bye week after the Monday night game. And then we are going to end up in L.A. facing the Los Angeles Chargers. I feel like out of the West teams besides Kansas City, this will be your other tough game. I think they can pull it out in L.A., right? The Chargers aren't known really for having fans in their stadium. So it won't be too much like a home game for them.
Yeah.
I feel like we might be able to slip away with a win.
Is that
there
the same
in LA.
for the Chargers as it is for the Rams?
Yeah. There's more fans usually for the Rams games than the Chargers games.
Ah!
So,
Okay.
Well,
Why?
the Chargers are one of those teams that it seems people pick to be in the hunt for their division and possibly, the AFC Championship. but they always fall flat on their face every year. Something goes wrong, whether they're injured or whether they just lose games they should win. I got that down as a win, even though you got to put pressure on Herbert. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they got that receiver from TCU that tore up Michigan, Quentin Johnson, and they still have Keenan Allen. Two solid wide receivers. So secondary is definitely going to have their hands full with that. But overall, I think on paper we're better equipped to face that.
I think it's going to be another really, really close game. It's going to go down to the wire. I don't know why. I feel like the Lions are going to do well. So I'm going to give them a win here.
All right. And then we hit our first probably what will be cold weather game. Baltimore might be cold, but this one probably will definitely be cold. We're going to be in Chicago, right? That's the Chicago game. No, we're actually home. We're home. This is not our cold weather game. We're home against Chicago after facing LA. We should beat Chicago. We should have no problem beating Chicago. Yeah. They did get better defensively, right? But we should have no problem beating Chicago. That should be another win for us.
Back on a winning streak. Short and sweet. Chicago is garbage. They have no offensive line. They have no real receiving threat other than Chase Claypool. They got him from Pittsburgh.
And DJ Moore
from DJ Moore. Okay, they got DJ Moore.
They have some,
but they have no offensive line, and Justin Fields gets killed every week, and they really can't play defense. So yeah, the Bears are trash. This is a win.
I think I like the Bears more than you. I think that they're going to be a far better team this year if Justin Fields can stay healthy. But I'll give the home game to the Lions. I'll say we're going to beat them at home. So I'll give them that.
All right. Now we get to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We're at Thanksgiving.
And what a better game to have. What a better team to feast on.
At this point, right, I think we all have them with a very good record at this point in the season.
I have them halfway through the season going 5-3. So we are a couple games past the halfway point by now.
Right. And as they're going to face the Packers at home on Thanksgiving, I think this is the first time in a while that we are going to win on Thanksgiving.
Yes, just kill them. Just go out there, play your guts out, beat the living crap out of them because they have nobody.
Yeah, this should be a fairly easy game.
And then go home to your families and enjoy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yep, I think, like I said, I think they'll lose to Green Bay in Green Bay, but on Thanksgiving, I think that they're going to play their butts off and they're going to surprise. I think Green Bay is going to surprise them in Lambeau, but they won't be surprised when we play them on Thanksgiving. No. So they're going to be ready for them.
You're going to have a national audience again.
Another national game.
Yep.
And then our next game, right? We're going to be going to New Orleans.
The Big Easy.
Right. This is another one where New Orleans isn't necessarily the easiest place to play, but I do think you can handle New Orleans there and beat them.
Well, how good is their defense?
I think they're average.
I mean, I know they got Kamara, who's a threat on the ground, but once again, another team with not the greatest quarterback in the world, Derek Carr.
Yep.
I got that down. They do have Olave as a wide receiver, so he's solid, and but again, not a strong person at quarterback in my opinion, and put pressure on him, walk away with a win.
We don't play well in New Orleans very often.
How often do we play there? I
can't remember the last time we won in New Orleans.
I can't remember the last time we played.
But there. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to go with I think the Lions will win this one though, even though they've not had much success down there. We have always had bad luck going back to Tom Dempsey with New Orleans. When was the last time we beat New Orleans?
I don't even know when the last time we played them was.
I don't think
we have. Bit. But hey, times are changing. We're a better team. Time to
Yep.
break some
But
stuff.
I'll give it to them. I'll give it to them because I think New Orleans is having a down year.
Now, here's where I say our cold weather game will end up being, because you will be in Chicago in December. This will be
The Bears blow.
They're going to probably, I say, sweep the Bears right there.
Yes.
They're going to win in Chicago. Continue. They might clinch it in Chicago depending on
Yeah.
how Minnesota does.
I
that
mean,
might be at the point where you might
Not
clinch
much
the
you can
division.
say the Bears suck, and we are
You might
miles
be,
better than that.
that
and
might
we
be when
should
you get your
handily
playoff spot.
beat them. Yes.
Well, like I said before, I don't think they're as bad as you guys think. I think they will win in Chicago. I'm going to give Chicago the win here. So I'll say that'll be the third loss of the season, which isn't bad.
Now comes our next game. This could end up being another primetime game. It's to be
really?
determined. Is the time.
Really?
So depending on where we're at this point in the year, they might feel like this is the clincher game and do it on prime time. We'll be at home against the Broncos, right? Will Sean Payton bring the Broncos back to glory and have them be a good team, or will they be the same as they were last year with Russell Wilson? I think we do beat them at home. I think we will win, right? It probably will be another close game. That whole AFC West is a very good division. They're not easy teams to play. I think we'll make it out of there with another win out of that division.
Yeah. I don't think the Broncos
really
are
good.
that good. How much confidence do you think Sean Payton will have in Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson, I don't know, he had a mental breakdown last year. Probably one of the worst we've ever seen him play. Of all accounts, he's lost his teammates. He's not very popular in the locker room. So yeah, going on that, this team seems in complete disarray. It's a train wreck there. And that's a win for me.
They were in complete disarray, but Sean Payton's a hell of a coach. They're not going to be in disarray.
We'll see if he can get his head on right.
If the question is, was that the real Russell Wilson we saw last year?
Yeah.
I'm going to say they're going to be better this year. Certainly, they can't be much worse than
Can't
what
be
they were.
worse than right.
I like Sean Payton, and I'm not thoroughly convinced that was the Russell Wilson we'll see this year. I think he might bounce back this year. This is going to be a tough game. I think a lot tougher than people think. It is at home though, so I'm going to give it to the Lions. Again, tough game, but
now here is where I think that final loss probably will happen.
Definitely the team that we are going to be battling for the NFC North.
And you don't face them till the end of the season. So
twice in the last 3 games.
You're going to Minnesota. This is currently a 1 o'clock game. I wouldn't be surprised if they move it up depending on the situation, because at that point, that could be the clinching game.
Yep.
And they might make that a Sunday night game. With that being said, right, like I said, I don't think they will win in Minnesota. I think this is where their next loss will be.
Well, we should have won last year in Minnesota. It was, let's face it, Dan Campbell, I think with his game plan, lost that game. I think with his clock management, lost that game for them. Otherwise, they would have walked out of there with a win. I'm not saying the Vikings are a pushover, but I think we are definitely better than them. I think we have at least the best quarterback in Jared Goff in the NFC North. I think he's better than Kirk Cousins. But they do have weapons. They got Dalvin Cook. They got probably one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver, Jefferson in the league. And they got Jordan Addison. So, yeah, but I still consider that a win. We should beat them.
I'm also, I don't know why. I just feel like Minnesota, everyone just wrote them off because of how they won last year. They've been a good team for a while. And I think I just feel like they're going to win this game in particular at home.
I guess it might depend on if we clinch the division, who we put out there.
Right. Yeah. We're still pretty early. We're not going to clinch the division with 3 games
you don't
to
know.
go.
Well, I don't know.
Unless our whole division collapses.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a blip on us. I think we're going to stub our toe here again. And I give it to the Minnesota Vikings at home.
And then we get our final potential primetime game of the year, right? Saturday night. We're going to be in Dallas. And we are probably, in my opinion, I think we can pull it out in Dallas this year.
Yes. Yep.
It's going to be a close game. I don't think they're going to trip and fall like they did at the end of the game last year. I think they'll hold steady. They'll at least give themselves a chance. This might be another game where you lose again, right? But I honestly feel you might be able to pull it off against Dallas.
I don't think Dak Prescott is a world beater of a quarterback. I think he's decent. I think Jared Goff is right on his level. I really do. It's Dallas's defense that you have to worry about. It's Micah Parsons. Keep him off of Jared Goff, and I think you could have some success. And I have them down winning that. I almost put that in the loss column, but it's another Monday night game, and I think, as Harold does, that they can pull it off.
I think, like you said, their defense at Dallas at home. I think it's going to be a very tough.
It'll
game
be a
for us
long
to
night
win.
for the offensive line.
Not that we can't handle it. I think it'll be a close game. Ezekiel Elliott's no longer with them.
Nope.
Yeah.
So their running backs are pretty.
It's Tony Pollard. Which is he's
comes
good.
Down to health.
He's
Like
been-
I said, if Dak
he was getting
Prescott
more and more of the
Tony
carries
Pollard
last
are
year.
there, I think Dallas wins this one at home.
And then we got our final game. This is another TBD, right? This could be a primetime game. You're back home against Minnesota. I think you're ending the year with the win. Final record would be 14-3.
And since when do the Lions end the season at home? That's a rarity almost.
I think they'll end the year 14-3. You'll win the division. I do not know if you would be that is close to potentially being the number one seed. You probably wouldn't be the number one seed. I think probably be number 2. Philadelphia might be the number 1 seed at that point. But I think we are gonna have a really, really good year. I know I'm younger. I have a lot more hope than you guys.
No, me and you are kind of almost on the same track. We ended up with the same record. I got them at 14-3. I think they're gonna beat. I don't think they're gonna lose to anybody in our division. I just don't. And again, it does depend on if they've already won the division, who they put out there. You know, if it gets to that point, I would play Hendon Hooker. Get him out there. Get him some rips if he can play. And Lions, I think, at home, last game of the season, potentially having a home field advantage in the playoffs. Yep, that's a win.
I agree. I think they're going to finish off the season with a win at the end. I think it might come down to the division in this game, but I don't think so. I think by this time they will have already won it because I don't really think there's anybody in our division. Maybe Minnesota can win 10 games.
Yes.
I think the other ones are going to be better than you think. I'm talking like right around 8 wins for Green Bay and Chicago. But I think we're going to have the division done by this point. So, but I'm still going to give it to us. We've got to finish off the season with a good note because I picked them to lose 2 weeks prior. So they want to go into the playoffs on a good note. And I see them at 12-5. So, yeah, I originally had them at 11-6 because I had them losing the Kansas City game. But I don't know why. I think that I've had a better feeling about it since it was announced. So I feel like they have a really good shot to win that game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to them just because I'm a Detroit fan.
Do you know what that will do if they can beat Kansas City? Number one, we are going to be at that game.
Yes, we will.
And we might not get out of the stadium alive because we'll all be dressed in Lions gear, and there'll be some angry Chiefs fans going out of leaving the Arrowhead that night.
It will be,
but
a
it'll
fun
also
time,
be.
It'll be a
this
great
will
time.
be honestly. It will be like winning a major playoff game for Lions fans. This is how we look at this game.
And honestly, as tough as the schedule can end up being, it's also very favorable, as in you really don't play outside the last half of the year besides Chicago.
Yeah,
that's
especially in the winter months. That's great.
Yeah, that's the really nice thing about this is that when I looked at the schedule, really we only have one cold weather game.
Yep, you're getting
Nope.
that game out of the way
Baltimore might
early
be,
in
but Chicago
Lambeau.
will be.
Yep, you're getting that game in Lambeau out of the way early. Perfect.
So, but I think it will be a good year. It'll be a fun year to watch.
Yep.
Right. Let's hope our predictions are right, because that will be a division. That will be at least the number 2 seed in the NFC with in your prediction, maybe a 3 or 4 seed with your prediction.
Yeah.
But with that being said, right, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think will happen this year,
Subscribe, comment,
right?
share.
right? And I hope to see everybody soon.